The alien king's daughter was saved by the human doctor. The reward nearly made him collapse after the life-threatening illness of Princess Liara. The palace of Zelora 7 slowly returned to its usual rhythm. The grand halls, once filled with tense whispers and frantic movements, were now alive with soft laughter, ceremonial music, and the gentle hum of alien technology. But even in this calm, the presence of the human doctor, Ethan Kane, brought a new wave of curiosity and quiet wonder among the alien court. Ethan, who had spent weeks tirelessly working to save Liara, was still adjusting to the palace's unusual environment. The walls of the palace were made of a shimmering crystal-like material that changed color with the light, and the floors emitted a soft, glowing pulse with every step. To a human, it was breathtaking but also disorienting. Every corner of the palace seemed alive, as if it had a consciousness of its own. Yet, Ethan moved with purpose. Though exhausted from the long hours of treating the princess, he refused to sit idle. Healing was his mission, but understanding this new world fascinated him equally. Princess Liara, now stable and regaining her strength, showed a remarkable curiosity about the human doctor. She had watched him work with intense concentration, blending knowledge, skill, and compassion in ways she had never seen. In her culture, knowledge was revered, but the humans had a peculiar way of solving problems. They experimented boldly, often relying on intuition alongside study. Ethan's methods fascinated her. He did not follow rigid rules, but he observed, thought, and adapted quickly. "You humans are strange," Liara said one morning, her voice still soft but more confident. "You are so small and fragile compared to us, yet you have this strength, this determination that makes even our greatest scientists seem slow." Ethan smiled, brushing back his hair. "Strength isn't always about size or power. Sometimes it's about the will to keep going, even when everything seems impossible." Liara considered this for a long moment. Then she smiled, a rare and genuine smile that made the room feel lighter. "Perhaps that is why my life was saved by you, a human, and not by one of my own people. You see things differently. You do not fear failure as we do." Their conversations became daily rituals. Ethan told her about Earth, about the oceans, mountains, and cities filled with millions of people. He explained human medicine, how they learned from mistakes, and how compassion was often as important as intelligence. Liara listened, captivated. In turn, she shared stories of Zelora 7, its history, the challenges of ruling an empire, and the delicate balance needed to maintain peace among the different species of the planet. Despite the blossoming friendship, not everyone in the court welcomed Ethan. Some alien advisors whispered behind closed doors, questioning why a human, so fragile and so different, was allowed such proximity to the princess. "He is clever, yes," one said in a dim corridor, "but humans are unpredictable. They might think in ways we cannot control. Can we trust him fully?" Ethan, aware of these whispers, did not let them bother him. He had faced doubt and skepticism before, on Earth and elsewhere. What mattered most was the princess's safety and well-being. But he also knew that winning the court's trust would require patience and humility. One afternoon, Liara invited Ethan to walk with her through the palace gardens. The gardens were unlike anything Ethan had seen. Plants glowed with a soft inner light, and the air was rich with scents that were simultaneously sweet, spicy, and alien. Water flowed in streams that seemed to float in midair, defying gravity yet maintaining perfect balance. Ethan marveled at every detail. "These gardens are beautiful," he said. "They feel alive." Liara laughed lightly. "They are alive. The plants respond to thought and emotion. You must concentrate when walking here or you might startle them." Ethan bent to examine a small glowing flower. Its petals shimmered as if recognizing his touch. "Even in my own world, I have never seen such a thing. It's incredible how life can adapt in so many ways." As they walked, Liara spoke of the responsibilities of leadership. Being a princess is more than just wearing a crown or giving orders. You must understand your people, their fears, their hopes. You must anticipate problems before they happen, or even the smallest mistake can cause chaos. Ethan nodded, thinking about his own world. It sounds a lot like being a doctor. You must see the problem before it becomes too serious, think about every possible outcome, and act decisively. Sometimes you can only hope you're right. Liara's eyes brightened. Yes, that is exactly what you did for me. You acted when others hesitated. That is why I am alive today. The bond between them grew stronger, based on mutual respect and shared understanding. But with their growing friendship, Ethan began to realize that his presence was changing the court. His human ways, questioning authority respectfully, using intuition alongside knowledge, and showing genuine care, made some of the alien advisors uncomfortable. They were used to strict protocols and hierarchy, where questioning a superior was almost forbidden. Ethan's approach challenged that order, and it made them wary. One evening, during a dinner in the royal hall, a senior advisor spoke aloud in front of everyone. "Your Highness, the human has done well, but can we rely on his judgment in the long term? He is not of our species. How do we know he will always act in our best interest?" Liara looked at Ethan, then back at the advisor. Her voice was calm but firm. "Ethan has saved my life. That alone proves his worth. But beyond that, he has shown intelligence, kindness, and courage. Those qualities are not bound to species. They are bound to character. If you cannot see that, then perhaps you need to reconsider your definition of worth." The room fell silent. Even the skeptical advisor had no words to counter the princess's reasoning. Ethan felt a mixture of relief and humility. It was one thing to save a life. It was another to earn trust in an entirely alien world. As days passed, Ethan also began teaching Liara some basics of human problem-solving. They worked on simple exercises, observing patterns, making predictions, and thinking creatively about solutions. Liara, naturally intelligent and quick to learn, picked up the methods rapidly. She marveled at the human emphasis on intuition and flexibility. In alien culture, rules were often fixed, and deviation was rare. Humans, by contrast, could adapt and improvise in ways that often led to unexpected success. This sharing of knowledge strengthened their friendship further. Liara started seeing Ethan not just as her doctor, but as a teacher and a guide. Ethan, meanwhile, developed a deep respect for her courage and intelligence. Despite her illness and the dangers she had faced, Liara maintained a grace and composure that impressed him. He realized that this young princess could become a leader who might change her world forever, if she continued to embrace both her own culture and the lessons she could learn from others. One night, as they walked through the palace balcony, overlooking the glowing city of Zellora 7, Ethan spoke softly. "You have a remarkable world here, Liara. But I can see even here, in this city of light and wonder, there are challenges no one can ignore. Leadership is never easy." Liara's voice was thoughtful. "I know, and I have already learned that even the strongest leader cannot succeed alone. That is why your presence here is so important. You remind me that strength comes in many forms, and courage can be found in the most unexpected places." Ethan felt a strange warmth. In that moment, he understood that his role on Zellora 7 was more than just saving a life. He was helping to bridge two worlds, humans and aliens, through trust, respect, and shared knowledge. As the days turned into weeks, the palace began to accept Ethan more fully. The whispers faded, replaced by curiosity and cautious admiration. He joined meetings with alien scientists, offering insights that sometimes startled them with their simplicity and effectiveness. Slowly, he was no longer seen as a strange outsider, but as a valuable contributor to the Empire's knowledge. Yet, despite the growing respect, Ethan remained humble. He focused not on the glory of his achievements but on the work itself. understanding alien medicine, helping the princess, and learning from a civilization far older and more advanced than his own. He knew that the universe was vast and that humans were still very small in comparison. But he also understood that even a single human mind, equipped with courage and curiosity, could make a difference beyond imagination. And so, life in the palace settled into a new rhythm. Princess Liara grew stronger each day, her mind sharper and her heart braver. Ethan continued his work, walking the delicate line between human ingenuity and alien tradition. Together, they were not just saving a life, they were sowing the seeds of understanding between two very different worlds. Unseen, however, new challenges were already stirring in the galaxy. Other planets, other civilizations, would soon take notice of the human doctor who had dared to step where no human had gone before. And with those challenges would come tests that would demand every ounce of courage, intelligence, and ingenuity Ethan possessed. But for now, on Zellura 7, amid glowing gardens and crystal halls, humanity had won a small but significant victory. And the bond between a human doctor and an alien princess promised a future full of possibility, discovery, and wonder. After weeks of recovery and learning, Princess Liara was now strong enough to walk, laugh, and engage fully in the palace life. The grand halls of Zellura 7, which had once been tense with fear and uncertainty, now shimmered with celebration and quiet excitement. The alien court watched closely as Ethan Kane, the human doctor, moved confidently through the corridors. He was no longer just the foreign healer. He was becoming a symbol of human courage, creativity, and persistence. The palace was preparing for a ceremony, one unlike any the planet had seen before. The alien king had called a full assembly of advisors, dignitaries, and citizens. His intention was clear. The human who had saved his daughter's life must be honored in a way that would reflect both gratitude and the significance of the act. Rumors of the reward spread quickly throughout the palace. Some whispered that it would be gold or rare jewels. Others guessed it would be advanced alien technology, perhaps a powerful weapon or a healing device. Ethan, however, did not dwell on these speculations. He had only focused on the princess's health, believing that seeing her smile again was reward enough. The day of the ceremony arrived. The palace glittered under the light of two suns, the crystal walls reflecting dazzling beams across the courtyard. Thousands of citizens gathered, their forms varied and colorful, representing many species of the Zelloran Empire. The air was filled with excitement, a mixture of awe, curiosity, and celebration. Ethan, dressed in a simple human suit, felt strangely out of place among the elegant robes, ceremonial ornaments, and shimmering cloaks of the aliens. Yet he held his head high, reminding himself that he had earned this recognition not by appearance, but by action. The alien king, a towering figure with luminous skin that shifted colors with emotion, stepped forward. His voice, amplified naturally by the crystal halls, echoed with authority. Today, we gather to honor one who has done what many believed impossible, one who has crossed the stars, risked his life, and proven the strength of his species. Human, Dr. Ethan Kane. The crowd erupted in applause, though the sound was strange to Ethan's ears, a mixture of alien tonalities, claps, and resonant vibrations that humans could barely replicate. Princess Liara stood beside the king, her eyes glowing softly with gratitude. She reached out, touching Ethan's hand briefly. "You saved my life," she whispered. "You changed everything for me and for us all." The king continued. "A reward must reflect more than mere service. It must reflect the spirit, courage, and ingenuity displayed. Therefore, Ethan Kane will receive an honor unlike any given in our history. He will be granted the title of Interstellar Envoy, giving him access to our knowledge, our resources, and a voice in the decisions that affect the entire empire." Furthermore, he will have the ability to travel among our worlds, learn, teach, and bring together civilizations in ways never before imagined. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. The words were powerful, almost unbelievable. He had treated patients on Earth, handled emergencies, and even faced life-threatening situations, but nothing like this. This was beyond any human recognition he had ever received. He took a deep breath, trying to calm the rush of thoughts and emotions flooding his mind. This reward was not just an honor. It was responsibility, influence, and a chance to touch the lives of countless beings across the galaxy. Some advisors in the court shifted uneasily. Not everyone understood the king's decision. They had expected gold, jewels, or perhaps a technological device of immense power. Instead, the reward was authority, trust, and access, things that could change the balance of power within the empire. A few murmured concerns about granting a human such influence. But the king's gaze silenced them. Character, courage, and compassion matter more than species, he said firmly. He has proven these qualities. That is why he is worthy. Ethan stepped forward, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions. Your Highness, I am deeply honored. I never expected such recognition. My work here was only to save a life. I did what I hoped any doctor would do, but I am grateful for your trust and I promise to use it wisely. The king's expression softened. It is not only for you, human, but for the future. You represent the possibilities that arise when different worlds meet. When humans bring their courage, creativity, and empathy to the galaxy, we all benefit. You have not only saved my daughter but reminded us that even the smallest species can achieve the greatest feats. The audience watched in awe as the ceremony progressed. Ethan was presented with a symbolic sash, woven from a material that shimmered like liquid light. It was the sign of his new title and authority. Along with it came a crystal tablet, a repository of Zeloran knowledge, medicine, science, history, and philosophy, all condensed into a form accessible to him. He could now learn and teach, influence and innovate. Ethan nearly collapsed under the weight of understanding. He realized the reward was not gold or jewels. It was something far greater. It was trust. It was opportunity. It was the acknowledgement that humans, often underestimated, could stand among the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. After the ceremony, the princess led Ethan to the palace gardens, where the soft glow of alien plants reflected the light of the setting suns. I know this is a lot for you, Liara said gently, but you deserve it. Your work, your courage, your care, they have changed everything for us, for me. Ethan leaned against a glowing tree trying to find words. I never imagined this. I thought I was just doing my duty as a doctor. I never expected this level of responsibility or trust. Liara smiled, her expression both playful and serious. That is what makes humans remarkable. You do not seek reward, yet you achieve greatness. You do not fear responsibility, even when it is immense. And that is why my father chose this reward. It suits you, whether you feel ready or not. Ethan looked at the glowing plants, then back at the princess. He realized she was right. Humans were not naturally the strongest or the fastest. They were often fragile, overlooked, underestimated. But their courage, empathy, and creativity made them powerful in ways that could surprise even the most advanced civilizations. Over the following days, Ethan began learning how to use his new privileges. He was granted access to advanced laboratories, libraries, and research facilities. He studied alien medicine, energy systems, and technology, quickly adapting human methods to work with alien systems. His approach, combining intuition, creativity, and observation, began producing results that alien scientists had not achieved in decades. Meanwhile, the princess continued to train with him. She learned the human ways of problem-solving, thinking flexibly, and making decisions under pressure. Ethan encouraged her to question assumptions, test ideas, and trust her instincts. She thrived under his guidance, becoming more confident, more capable, and ready to lead when her father would one day step down. Despite the admiration from many in the court, some remained wary. They watched Ethan closely, scrutinizing his every action. Could a human, so small and seemingly fragile, really understand the complexities of their empire? Could he be trusted with such influence? Ethan remained patient. He knew that trust could only be earned through action, and he focused on demonstrating his reliability, humility, and dedication. The reward, though extraordinary, was not without pressure. Ethan understood that the entire empire now looked to him as a bridge between humans and aliens. Every decision, every suggestion could have far-reaching consequences, but instead of feeling overwhelmed, he felt inspired. He had been given a chance to show that humanity's ingenuity, courage, and compassion were strengths that could shape the future of the galaxy. One evening, as the sun set and cast long shadows across the crystal halls, Ethan reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From a simple human doctor on Earth, traveling across the stars, he had arrived in a world of wonder, danger, and immense responsibility. He had saved a life, earned trust, and now held a position that could influence entire civilizations. And yet he knew the journey was only beginning. Greater challenges awaited, both within the Empire and beyond. Threats from other star systems, the mysteries of the universe, and the responsibilities of bridging two very different species, all of these lay ahead. But Ethan felt ready. He had seen the power of compassion, courage, and ingenuity. He had witnessed firsthand that even a single human could make a difference. Princess Liara joined him on the balcony, her eyes reflecting the glow of the twin suns. "Ethan," she said softly, "the galaxy has never seen a human like you, and the universe is vast, but together we can face anything." Ethan nodded. "I will do my best, Liara, not just for you or the Empire, but for the possibility of what humans can achieve. We are small, yes, but we can do extraordinary things." The princess smiled, a quiet determination in her gaze. "Then let us prepare. The future is waiting, and it will not wait for us to be ready." And so, as the light of the suns faded into the sparkling night sky, Ethan Kane, human doctor and interstellar envoy, realized the truth of what the king had said. Courage, creativity, and compassion were gifts that transcended species. And with these gifts, a human could truly stand among the stars. With the grand ceremony behind him and the title of Interstellar Envoy firmly established, Ethan Kane began his real work. The glow of Zelora, 7 twin suns, lit the palace halls, but it was the challenge of proving humanity's worth in a galaxy of advanced civilizations that truly energized him. Despite his human limitations, fragility, lack of alien endurance, and the size of his species, Ethan understood that humans had something the most advanced species sometimes lacked: adaptability, creativity, and the courage to act when others hesitated. The first task before him was a crisis involving the Empire's energy network. Zelora 7 relied on a series of crystal conduits to distribute energy across its cities and satellites. For decades, alien scientists had attempted to stabilize fluctuations that caused occasional power surges. These surges could destroy homes, research labs, and even delicate alien flora that was central to the planet's ecosystem. The problem had been complex enough to defy their most brilliant minds. Ethan studied the problem with quiet determination. Alien technology was unlike anything he had seen. Crystals hummed with energy, responding to subtle vibrations, mental signals, and environmental changes. To a human, it seemed almost impossible to manipulate such a system, but Ethan refused to be intimidated. He observed patterns, noting how energy pulses moved, slowed, and intensified in response to natural events and human-like interference. Then he applied his human logic: break the problem into smaller pieces, test each hypothesis, and use intuition to predict outcomes. The alien engineers watched skeptically as Ethan proposed a solution. It seemed simple, almost naive. Adjust the alignment of a minor secondary conduit, observe the effect, and then gradually scale the adjustment across the network. The engineers had spent years running complex calculations, yet Ethan's human approach was direct, practical, and surprisingly efficient. Hours passed. Ethan worked tirelessly, checking results, making small corrections, and guiding the alien engineers. Slowly, the energy pulses stabilized. The surges disappeared, leaving a steady, predictable flow across the planet. The engineers, who had doubted the human from the beginning, were astonished. Ethan's success was proof that sometimes a fresh perspective, unbound by tradition, could solve problems that even the most advanced minds could not. News of Ethan's accomplishment spread quickly through the palace. He had not only solved the energy crisis but had done so in a way that taught the aliens something new about problem solving. Word reached Princess Liara, who greeted him with admiration. "You do more than heal, Ethan. You teach," she said. "You show us that even a species we thought fragile can lead the way if it uses its mind and heart." Ethan shook his head. "I am just applying what humans do best. We adapt, we observe, we try, fail, and try again. That is all." But Liara smiled knowingly. "That is exactly what makes humans exceptional. Sometimes strength is not physical. Sometimes strength is thought, courage, and the willingness to act when others hesitate." Over the next weeks, Ethan continued to demonstrate the human advantage. He worked with alien scientists to improve medical procedures, combining human intuition with alien precision. For instance, a species of alien had difficulty repairing damaged neural tissue. Their tools were advanced, but their methods were rigid. Ethan introduced simple, flexible techniques, human surgical improvisation combined with alien biotechnology. The results were remarkable. Recovery times halved, success rates increased, and the alien scientists were left astonished. The princess often observed these sessions. She noted that Ethan did not seek praise. He focused on results, collaboration, and learning. Liara began incorporating these lessons into her leadership style, encouraging flexibility, innovation, and critical thinking among her advisors. Slowly, the human doctor's influence was reshaping the palace itself. Not all attention, however, was positive. Some advisors still whispered doubts, claiming that humans were unpredictable and that Ethan's success was temporary luck. One particularly vocal counselor challenged him during a meeting. "Human," he said, his voice low and cautious, "your methods may work for small problems, but can you handle something that threatens the empire itself? Can a human truly understand the complexities of interstellar politics and strategy?" Ethan met the counselor's gaze calmly. "I may not think like every alien in this room, but humans have survived in ways you cannot imagine. We face danger, scarcity, and uncertainty constantly. We learn to adapt, and when faced with impossible odds, we do not freeze, we act. That is why I can help. That is why humans can be trusted." The counselor was silent, though the tension in the room remained. Even the king, who trusted Ethan completely, watched carefully. He knew that influence came with resistance, and he wanted Ethan to succeed without confrontation escalating unnecessarily. Meanwhile, Ethan's work extended beyond the palace walls. He traveled with Liara to outer settlements, hospitals, and research outposts. Wherever he went, his human perspective brought solutions to problems that had stumped alien scientists. From stabilizing oxygen cycles on floating habitats to preventing crop failures on irradiated moons, Ethan's ingenuity proved repeatedly that humans could think in ways that were complementary to alien intelligence. One day, while visiting a remote research station, Ethan encountered a crisis unlike any before. A newly discovered plant species, essential for the planet's bioenergy network, had begun to wither unexpectedly. Alien botanists had tried to adjust nutrient flow, lighting, and atmospheric conditions with no success. Ethan approached the problem differently. He observed the plants closely, noting patterns in leaf color, energy absorption, and environmental stress. Then he tested small interventions, combining human intuition with alien methods. Within days, the plants recovered. The research team was amazed. Ethan's approach had not only saved the species, but also introduced new methods of observation, experimentation, and flexible problem-solving that alien scientists had never considered. The event was widely reported throughout Zellora 7, and Ethan's reputation as the human who could solve the impossible grew. Through all this, his relationship with Princess Liara deepened. She began to rely on him not just as a doctor, but as a teacher, advisor, and friend. They spent hours discussing leadership, ethics, and strategy. Liara often remarked how human courage and creativity complemented the disciplined, rule-bound approach of her species. "You humans think differently," she said one evening as they walked through the glowing palace gardens. "You do not fear mistakes. You embrace them, learn from them, and act quickly. That is a gift my people can learn from." Ethan smiled. "Sometimes it is all we have, our courage to act. Humans survive by taking risks, making choices, and standing by them. It is not always easy, but it works more often than not." The princess nodded, reflecting deeply. "And that is why my father rewarded you so generously. He saw not only what you had done for me, but what you could do for our people and for the future. He saw the potential humans have in shaping this galaxy." Ethan understood then that his role was far greater than he had imagined. Saving Liara's life had been only the beginning. Now he was showing that humans could contribute to the survival and progress of an entire empire. And he was doing so without arrogance, only with careful observation, empathy, and creative thinking, the very traits that made humans unique. Yet challenges were already on the horizon. Other civilizations in nearby star systems began taking notice of the human doctor on Zellora 7. Rumors of his ingenuity spread across trade routes, communication networks, and interstellar gatherings. Some were intrigued, seeing potential allies in humanity. Others were wary, fearing that humans could upset the balance of power in the galaxy. Ethan realized that his influence could not be measured merely by results in medicine or technology. Diplomacy, strategy, and perception were now essential. He began working with Princess Liara and the king to develop programs that introduced human problem-solving and creativity into diplomatic, political, and strategic efforts. Through these efforts, Ethan demonstrated the unique advantage humans had in situations requiring empathy, ingenuity, and courage. Alien species, for all their intelligence, often relied on rules, hierarchy, and predictable methods. Humans, by contrast, were adaptable, willing to experiment, and capable of seeing solutions where others saw only obstacles. By the end of the weeks, the palace had changed subtly but unmistakably. Advisors who had once doubted Ethan now sought his counsel. Scientists applied human methods in their research. Leaders recognized the value of intuition alongside strict logic, and Princess Liara had grown more confident, more innovative, and more prepared to rule with a balance of alien discipline and human ingenuity. Ethan, for his part, remained humble. He did not seek praise or power. He acted because it was right, because the empire and its people deserved solutions, and because he had the ability to make a difference. In doing so, he became more than a doctor, more than an envoy. He became a symbol of humanity's potential in the galaxy. As night fell on Zellora 7, the twin moons casting silver light across the crystal halls, Ethan reflected on the journey so far. He had crossed the stars, saved a life, earned trust, and now taught a civilization to see the value in human creativity. The path ahead was uncertain, but he felt ready. Humans, he realized, were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but that very underestimation could be their greatest advantage. Princess Liara joined him on the balcony, her presence steady and reassuring. "You have shown our people what humans can do," she said softly. "And in doing so, you have shown me what kind of leader I can become. Together, we will face whatever the galaxy brings." Ethan nodded. "Then we will be ready. Humanity may be small in the stars, but we can achieve extraordinary things. And we will, if we stay courageous, curious, and compassionate." As the glow of the moons bathed the palace in a gentle light, Ethan Kane understood that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, challenges would come, and unknown dangers would test them all. Yet with courage, creativity, and the human heart, he could help shape a future that no one, not even the most advanced alien civilizations, had imagined possible.